When I was first asked to preach today, initially I was excited, but that excitement quickly turned to fear. One thing about fear and stress is it does have a functional purpose. We have fear and stress from the days when we had to fear a bear eating us. Now we experience fear to keep us cautious, safe, and protect us. A big theme throughout the rest of the service has been the idea of purpose. Jeremiah was a prophet who spoke for God. We heard him talk about God's plans for us. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prepare you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. What's important to know in Jeremiah's story is that he was called by God to be a prophet when he was young. But he was scared, and he tried to tell God no. Another young person who was probably nervous when they were figuring out their purpose is Greta Thunberg, a 19-year-old climate change activist from Sweden. Some of the things she is best known for is her protest outside of the Swedish parliament in 2019, which gained her popularity in the US. She has been nominated for 3 Nobel Peace Prizes and has also addressed the United Nations. We can relate to the idea of how we all have a purpose to protect and take care of our planet. We also know a lot of healthcare workers who feel it is their purpose to help people. I personally know one of my family friends, David, finds his purpose in being a mental health nurse. Some of the ways that he shows this is to make sure he's a calm presence even when his job may be stressful. Also, when he has the opportunity to lead groups, he often talks about meditation, which for him is a big part of his spirituality. Yet there is also people who find their purpose in being a supportive friend, a friend you can call anytime, a friend who always seems to know just the right thing to say. Nevertheless, one of the things that we like to ignore is the fact that this person is probably the person who has seen the most and been through the most. I am usually considered this supportive friend in the fact that I will help, in the fact that I will always let you call me, and I don't interrupt and talk about my own personal life when you really need to talk. But as this friend, I rarely talk about my own feelings, and this is one of the things I hate most about being the supportive friend. And this is usually the reasons you'll find videos on social media of people complaining about being the supportive friend. But recently, my view has changed on being that supportive friend. This is after a recent conversation with a girl on my track team named Ella. We were riding home from a track meet when we got to talking about how COVID has affected our mental health and how it has led to a lot of us teens leaning on each other for support. This is how I became that supportive friend for my friends. I had also always seen this supportive friend thing as an exhausting job. But that really changed when Ella explained to me, I know for a long time I felt the same way, but that's until I recently realized that I'm one of the most qualified people to do that job. In a way, we could choose to look at this conversation with Ella as God trying to show me that maybe one of my purposes in life is to be that supportive friend, and how it's not necessarily a bad thing to be that person for others. Perhaps this is my Isaiah, I'm here, Lord, send me moment. We could also look at this from the angle of that because of what I have been through, I can be a better friend. We know that in some churches, the idea that God has put bad things in your life to help you later on is unfortunately used as a fear-mongering tool, because it is also sometimes referring to God punishing you for doing bad things or sinning. For me in my personal relationship with God, I believe that God tries to show people how what they have been through can be used as something to help you grow in the future. Our church has found one of its purposes in affordable childcare education. We do this through Thrive Childcare, where 10% of the children receive scholarships, and all of it is done at a cheaper cost than most childcare. Most of the scholarship money comes from Thrift on Fifth, which is a thrift store located in our basement. Our church has recently been working to be more inclusive to the LGBTQ plus community. We are working on this inclusivity in many ways. A bit of history. For nearly 50 years, the United Methodist Church has had statements and policies that excluded people who are LGBTQ plus from serving as clergy and being welcomed in our churches. The church has declared people incapable with Christian teachings. The church has caused much pain through these statements. Also, for nearly 50 years, people have been working within the church to remove exclusionary language and create churches where all people really are welcome. Recent churches that do not want to be inclusive are leaving the United Methodist Church for the Wesleyan Convent Association in Minnesota in general, as especially at reconciling churches like Christ United Methodist. We are working to create a church where everyone is celebrated and has a sense of belonging. Our church has seen parts of our purpose as being a place of inclusivity and welcome. We are working to be inclusive by having a booth at Pride, adding pronouns to employee badges and also to confirmands statements, and having rainbow doors. Fun fact, this is now how I tell my friends what church I go to. All of these are some of what the church has done to show that their purpose is to be more inclusive. These are some of the things that the church and others find purpose in. What is something you feel like you're good at? Do you support businesses with good purposes? What are some of your purposes? On this Confirmation Sunday, I encourage all of us to reflect on our purposes. We confirmands are making a commitment to our faith as followers of Jesus today. What is your faith calling you to do, and how can you use it for good? Have your purposes changed? How can you help others with your purpose? And what do you want to do with your life that relates to your purpose? Thank you.